First and foremost, all praises are due to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth. Salutations to the brothers around the four corners of the earth who are teaching this word in truth and sincerity. And shalom to the hopeful elect who listen and believe in this word. This is Brother Kawat Zabad coming at you with another lesson. This one is entitled, The Adulteress Woman, Keep to a Path Far from Her. We're going to start off with Proverbs 5, verse 1. This is Solomon talking to his son, trying to give him some advice. We know Solomon was one of the wisest men on the planet Earth. Also, Solomon later on became Yahweh Shai, okay? So Yahweh Shai is reincarnated, okay? And he was Solomon in his previous life, if you have ears to receive that. And if you understand the what reincarnation is about, if you don't, you can type in GMS in the search engine on YouTube, type in reincarnation, and many videos will pop up. We ourselves are also reincarnated. You've been here before. You can't remember your previous life, but you've been here before. So Proverbs 5 in verse 1, My son, attend unto my wisdom and bow thine ear to my understanding. So he's saying, hey, listen to what I got to tell you. Got some advice. Proverbs 5 verse 2, that thou mayest regard discretion and that thy lips may keep knowledge. And the word discretion means to think upon something. Okay, give it thought. Before you get into something, you give it discretion, all right? Before you buy a car, do you just go and buy a car without, looking into the car? Maybe seeing, how the engine is running, seeing about the model, how the car operates, looking at the reviews. Is it a good car? Are people saying good things about it? Or are people saying bad things about it? Before you put money down and buy it. So you give it discretion. You think about it, okay? Let's continue on. Proverbs 5, and let's go to verse 3. For the lips of a strange woman drop as an honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. What does it mean by a strange woman? That means a woman that's not yours. If she's with another man, that's not your woman. She's strange to you. You're not to be around her or even be near her, okay? Or go near her. Get away from her, okay? It's not your woman. Your woman, so you're not even to be around her. So even if you have maybe a male friend that you're cool with, and say, you come over his house and he leaves out, okay, you're supposed to leave out with him. You're not supposed to be hanging around his girl at all. That's a no-no, all right? And back in the times of Noah, back in the times of Moses, all right, back in the times of even, Solomon, that was a no-no, okay? Your woman was not to be around another man. So if your male friend leaves out, you leave out. You don't hang around, because that's ripe for something to happen that's not going to be nice. That's ripe for wickedness, okay? That's ripeness for something wicked to happen. You leave out when he leaves out. You're not to be around her, because a woman is a weak vessel, okay? And she can be easily influenced. She could be saying, oh, man, I kind of like his friend. This friend is kind of cool. He got a better car. He make more money. So, you're not to have your woman, okay, around another man. It's a no-no. It's going to cause problems. Let's read that again. Proverbs 5 in verse 3. For the lips of a strange woman drop as an honeycomb. They're sweet looking. She got that nice little gloss on them lips. They're looking sweet, luscious lips. And her mouth is smoother than oil, okay? So she's talking, she starts talking, and you liking the way she talking, and she like giving you little hints on, hey, what's up with you? What's up with you? Nah, don't do it. Proverbs 5, especially once you get into this truth, and you know that it's a sin, adultery, you have the understanding, don't do it. Proverbs 5 in verse 4, but her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword, okay? So the end of it is bitter as wormwood. What's wormwood? Let's look and see real quick. It don't sound like it's a good thing, okay? Let's see here. Okay, this is the Hebrew translation of the word wormwood. You won't let me get it. Okay.
Strong's H3939. Latana.
Okay, wormwood, bitterness. Okay, something bitter. All right. So her end will be bitterness. It's going to be, no good comes out of it. All right. Let's read that again. Proverbs 5:4. But her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Okay, it's not going to be good. Proverbs 5:5. Her feet go down to death. Her steps take hold on hell. And as you know, in the Old Testament, one of the main laws, the 10 laws, was thou shalt not commit adultery, and you got put to death. Let's get the scripture for that, the precept for that. Let's go to Leviticus. So back in them days, you got put to death. You got stoned to death. The adulterer and the adulteress. Okay, the adulterer was the male. The adulteress was the female. Okay, so 20 verse 10, Leviticus 20:10. And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. So you got put to death. All right, that was it. No questions asked. You're done. All right. So even in Solomon's time as well, that still was a law. The law, statutes, commandments were still being followed. Okay. Maybe not as hardcore as in Moses' time, but they still were being followed. Okay, you could be put to death, stoned to death. Nowadays, that doesn't really apply. I mean, as far as, we're in Esau's time. So in Esau's world, okay, it doesn't really apply like that because, the laws don't, they don't, you can't stone, if somebody commits adultery, they're not, put in a corner and stoned to death. That doesn't happen anymore, okay? That was a law that applied to us as Hebrew Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. But that doesn't apply now, all right? But you still can be killed. You don't know what's going to happen. Maybe you go to this woman's house. Maybe her boyfriend is hiding in the bushes. Maybe he shoots you, he confronts you, okay? You don't know if he's going to bust out the windows of your car. You don't know what's going to happen. So you still can be killed, all right, for messing with another man's wife. I know in Texas, it was on the books for a long time. I don't know if it's still on the books that if you mess with another man's wife, he could shoot you and kill you. He could murder you and nothing would happen to him, all right? But in today's time, like I said, the law doesn't apply because we're in Esau's world, okay? So-called white man, the devil. But you still can be killed because you're dealing with wickedness. So the evil spirits, they got free reign now. Like, can we get at him, Yahweh? Yahweh like, hey, get at him. All right? Go ahead and get at him. Be my guest. Okay? Let's go back to Proverbs here. All right, Proverbs 5. Let's continue on. Proverbs 5. Let's read that again. Proverbs 5 and verse 5. Her feet go down to death. Her steps take hold on hell. So you're going to be in a lot of shit. Okay, you can get yourself in a lot of shit messing with an adulteress. Okay, it's not worth it. Okay, Proverbs 5 and verse 8. And this is the main point of the lesson. Remove thy way far from her, and come not nigh the door of her house. So don't even come near her house. All right. You know how nowadays, like I said, they got the text messages. So, she may text you like, hey, what's up with you? Okay, what's up with you trying to come through? My man, he ain't even here. Don't do it. Okay, stay from her house. If she's got a man, that's her husband. All right? That's her husband. Don't do it, or you're going to get yourself in a lot of trouble. So keep away from her house. And like I said, if you have a male friend, okay, and you're over his house, and y'all chilling, you bugging out, you having a good time, and he said, "Oh, I'm about to go to the store real quick, man. Just hang tight, man. I'll be right back." You leave out of the house at that moment. You're not to be around another man's wife, another man's woman, okay? Which your woman is your wife, okay? Wife just means servant, okay? When a man and a woman have intercourse, they're husband and wife. That's marriage. not the little phony piece of paper that Esau made up at the justice of the peace. That's not marriage. Marriage is you have intercourse, you're married now. All right? You guys are together. Let's continue on. Let's go to Genesis. I have a precept, Genesis chapter 39. And this is talking about Joseph, okay? Joseph was, of course, one of the sons of Jacob, okay? And, of course, he was brought down to Egypt, okay, and given to, I guess he was put in a hole by his brothers who were very jealous of him because Joseph was Jacob's favorite son out of the 12 sons. They got jealous. He had a colorful coat. They took him, okay? They basically threw him down in a hole. And some Ishmaelites found him, okay? So this is continuing. We're going to read the scripture from there. Genesis and verse 1. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, okay? And Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither. So the Ishmaelites found him in the hole. They brought him down to Egypt. This guy Potiphar bought him. He was in a high office in the administration of Pharaoh. Let's continue on. Genesis 39. Let's go down to verse 4. And Joseph found grace in his sight. So he liked Joseph. And he served him. And he made him overseer over his house and all that he had put into his hand. All right. Let's go down to Genesis 39 and verse 7. All right. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, lie with me, okay? She said, let's go down to verse 9, okay? Let's read verse 8. Genesis 39, verse 8, all right? But he refused and said unto his master's wife, behold, my master wotteth not what is with me in the house, and he hath committed all that he hath to my hand. All right. Let's get the translation comparison of that, the NLT. This is Genesis 39 and verse 8, the NLT. But Joseph refused. Look, he told her, my master trusts me with everything in his entire household. Like, look, I'm not trying to get with you. Leave me alone. I'm just doing what my master told me to do. Genesis 39 and verse 9. There is none greater in this house than I, neither hath he kept back anything from me, but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against Yahweh? So he said, no, I'm not going to, I'm not going to do this. All right. All right, thou art his wife. I'm not going to do this wickedness. This is a sin. All right. Let's read verse 10. Genesis 39, verse 10. And it came to pass, as she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her, to lie by her or be with her. All right. Let's continue on. Genesis 39, verse 11. And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house there within. So he was in the house with her by himself. So he knew, I got to get out of here. There's no witnesses. There's nothing here. I'm going to get myself jammed up. She's been trying to come on to me. Genesis 39 and verse 12. And she caught him by his garment, saying, lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand and fled and got him out. All right. So he left her, but when he left, she had grabbed his garment, the garment that he had on. She grabbed a hold of it and she still had it. Okay. So the story goes that her husband comes back and she says, oh, he tried to come on to me. Okay. He tried to get with me. So of course she lied. And of course, Joseph was put in prison. Okay. But at being put in prison, when he was in prison, he was given a higher position in prison. He was given services in prison. They liked him in prison. So he was given a certain position of high ranking in the prison. And then he interpreted dreams for Pharaoh, okay? And that got him into Pharaoh's court, just to make a long story short. All right. But the main point I wanted to make was that he got out of there. Okay. Like the lesson says, the adulterous women keep to a path far from her. So once Joseph realized there weren't any other men in the house and he was there by himself, he said, I got to get out of here. But in leaving, she grabbed his garment and that got him jammed up in prison for a while. But later, like I said, he was able to interpret dreams for the Pharaoh, and that got him out of the prison, and that got him in a high position, okay, in Egypt, all right? And then, of course, the story goes, his brothers came from the land of Canaan down to Egypt because of the food shortage and so on and so forth. But the main point I wanted to make was flee from an adulterous woman. Get away from her, okay? Don't go near her, all right? If her husband's not around, you don't need to be around her at all. Okay? So on that note, I hope this lesson was edifying. And I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem B'Kak Wadash, Shalom.